Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to introduce this year's Wise Prize for Education laureate. She is someone who has dedicated the last 20 years of her life to the cause of education in Afghanistan. In 1995, she founded the Afghan Institute for Learning. In the beginning, while the Taliban was in power, it ran underground schools that educated thousands of girls. But to date, its work on health and education has reached 12 million people. So please welcome the Wise Prize for Education laureate, Dr. Sakena Yacoobi.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of God, the most merciful and the most beneficent. Your Highness, Sheikh Musa Nasser, the Chair Foundation, and dear delegate, Assalamu alaikum. Today I would like to talk to you about a story of my life and a story of the people who I work with. Education changed my life. Education transformed me. So I'm going to start from the beginning. When I was a little girl, I remember my father holding my hand, walking through the street, dirty street, in the old bazaar of Herat. He took me to a house of mullah. And I asked him where we are going. And he told me, we are going to go to the mosque. And we are going to learn how to read. So, as a child, of course, I just was giggling and laughing and going with my father to the house of mullah. When I got there, I remember he told mullah, whatever you know, you teach my daughter, because she is so special for me. Of course, every daughter is special for their father. And since that day, my father, God bless him, continuously he supported me. He encouraged me. And he told me you must get your education. Why I'm talking about my father? My father was not educated. My father was 5 years old when he lost his father. But you know, my father started from very childhood. As a child, he worked as a labor child. And by age of 25, my father was a very successful businessman. And always he said to himself that when I have children, doesn't make my children who they are, if it's a girl or is a boy, must get education. And that was my father. So, since I was the firstborn, I was a girl, but he treated me equal as a boy. Whatever I requested, he gave it to me. So I guess I can tell you that I was the lucky one. I was born in a family that they appreciate education. Of course, my other cousins, the same age as me, they went to school by the age of 12, 15, they got married. They stopped the school. I was the only girl who could go from that family to school and complete my education. And that's a blessing. That is a blessing. Maybe for you, it's not that much. At that time in Afghanistan, for a father who is not educated to encourage her child to go to school, his child, It was very special things. Since I was a child, I really wanted to be a doctor. You might ask why. But you know, every day that I was living in Afghanistan, going to school, going outside, I hear a cry of a child who was crying because he or she lost his mother because her or his mother was delivering a baby. And every day I could see the mother crying because she lost her baby, very young. My own mother had 16 pregnancies. From 16 pregnancy, only we lost 5 of us. There wasn't a day that I was not scared that any moment I will lose my mother. That was, as a child, for me, it was devastating my life. I was scared. That was the reason I said, I'm going to be a doctor. I am going to help the women to have a service, the little children, that they don't die, because I miss my brother and sister. That was my childhood. Since that time, I was studying very hard. I completed my high school. I was the first one in my class, but I wanted to go to university. And I got accepted in medical school and engineering school. And you know what? I could not go to the university because the Russians were invading Afghanistan. We had a lot of trouble. So my father said, you will go to Kabul, but I have to go with you. You cannot go by yourself. The situation is not good. So I said, fine. Then my father arranged it that I could go to America. So I went to America. I started my education. I was in the field of science. I was studying. Then, you know what happened to my life? It was shattered because Russia invaded Afghanistan. I became a refugee in the US. There was a day that I did not know what's happening to my family. But I knew one thing, that I have to be strong and study very, very hard. In the meantime, I find out that my family was driven out of their house. We had a good life. We had a good home. We had a very beautiful place. Everything was taken away from my parents. They were in the refugee camp in Iran. So that wasn't easy life for me. I struggled, but I studied very hard. And constantly I was thinking about Afghanistan, about the women of Afghanistan, about the children of Afghanistan, what's happening to them. But in the meantime, I completed my education. And the first thing I wanted to do, I was a professor at the University of Detroit, Michigan. I had a good job. Every time I turn around and I look, everybody was educated. Yes, I was a successful professor. Yes, I made a good money. Yes, my life was very comfortable. But what about my people? How they are doing? What they are doing? That was a trouble in my heart. So I brought my family to the US. I brought them because I know I want to go back. And I know that if my family are there, they will be in trouble. So I brought my family all by myself to the US. I sponsored them. In a matter of 1 year, I decided I'm going back to Afghanistan. Of course, my father said, you cannot go, there is a war. I said, I go to the refugee camp. My mother was in tears, but my father said, yes, let her go. She wants to go, let her go. You could imagine what kind of a father I had. And that was the man of Afghanistan. Today, everybody said that men in Afghanistan are prejudiced or they are doing this and that. Yes, they are some of them, but all of them are not like that. He was very open-minded, very intelligent, and he let me do what I wanted to do. So he sent me back. I went to the refugee camp. And let me tell you, when I went to the refugee camp, it wasn't a good scene. There were children crying. There were women weeping. They lost everything they had. I felt what they felt because I was a refugee once. They were devastated. They didn't have money. They didn't have home. They didn't have a school. They didn't have food. And they were sitting there. They were desperate. What I was going to do for them? I went there to help. How I could help? What I could do with those people? 7.5 million people in the refugee camp. That was a huge group of people. And at that moment, I remember that education changed my life. Education transformed me. Education gave me my dignity. Education gave me a status. Education gave me stability, gave me financial stability. That was education that is provided for me. How about my sister and brother? Am I different from them? No. They are the same as me. God created all of us equal. We have the same right in this world. So I said, I am going to go after education. The key solution for this problem is education. Education can build resilience. Education can give dignity. Education can give freedom. Education can alleviate poverty. Education can alleviate conflict, and we were living in a conflict zone. So that was it. But what kind of education? Is any kind of education can help? Just education, how to read and write? No. We sat and we thought about it. I find out myself that the only way that these people will be different if they learn critical thinking. Critical thinking makes you to be aware of your right, aware of your surrounding, aware of your freedom, aware of your skill. You can learn anything you want if you make your mind. That was I went after, and that was teacher training. We developed a curriculum that the teacher can use methodology that is a participatory methodology. It's a student-centered technique. The children can be the core of the program, and the teacher work around it. And that methodology becomes so successful that when I start implementing in Peshawar, Pakistan, in a matter of 4 months and a half, a child could learn how to read and write. While in Afghanistan, in 4 years, a child could not read and write. That was revolutionized the system of education. All of a sudden, everyone from the community come and they wanted their children to go to school. And that was the time that from 300 students, we went in 1 year to 15,000 students in the refugee camp. 15,000. 15,000. And let me tell you, every single mother, every father, every child wants to come to learn because children were happy, children were enjoying learning, the learning was easier to learn, the child could stay in the classroom instead of running away. Before, these children were traumatized. You could not hold them in the class. All of a sudden, they have fun, they have activity, they work with the teacher works with them, and the teacher has a special relationship with them, friendly relationship. There is no stick to beat them, there is no frowning, and the teacher is happy, they are happy, even they are under the tent, even they are under the tree, even they don't have a blackboard, even they don't have a notebook. But you know what? They had love. That was the core of the program, to teach how to love these children, how to reach them with a smile, not to just beat them. And that way, this news is spread all over. And that was the time that the community was every one of them. They love us, we love them, we built a relationship together. We keep creating school after school. The community helped me. The community provide the teacher. We provide the salary. The community give the space. We provide the material. We work together. Cooperation really worked. And that was the way that we work. And the news went into Afghanistan. And that was the time that they wanted a school into Afghanistan. And that was the time of Taliban. And you know, at that time, the school was banned for girls. Nobody could go to school. And what happened? We said again, use the same procedure. Talk to the community, ask them questions, listen to them, and said, what do you need? And they want a school. And one condition, if you give me space, I will give you the teacher. If you give me protection, I will give you supplies in teacher training. And you have to be part of this. You have to feel this is yours, not mine. And according to that, people were just giving their space. And they promising they will protect. And they did. We went to 5 provinces of Afghanistan, 80 schools. And you know, I just want to give you good news. I made you a little sad, but you know those students today, they are doctor, they are engineer, they are lawyer, and they work. They are the ones that today rebuilding Afghanistan. Yes, we have trouble still. I will get to that. But it's beautiful. When I see the children going out of school, unbelievable today. Today we have open school everywhere. We have clinic. We have provided so many educational material because the community is trying to help us and we build with them. I want to just tell you a story, share with you a story. One day I was in America. It was a conference at the university. And I was giving a speech like today. All of a sudden in front row, I was watching. There was 3 beautiful young girls weeping, like I almost break my presentation. And they were weeping in front row. And finally, I stopped. When I finished, I went to them. And I said, what's wrong? And they surrounded me, and they hugged me, and they cried. They said, you know, we are here today because of you. And we didn't know who you are. And they were, one went to a medical school, 2 was in engineering school, and they were in full scholarship. And that's the way the time of Taliban, those students went, and they learned. And you know that those students will go back to Afghanistan and will help the people of Afghanistan. That's the way you want to do. That's the way you should do. Thank you. So we built a school, we built the system. So where we are today, what we are doing today. Today, AIL has reached 12 million people, provided service. 6 million students benefited from our teacher training. 4 million people reach our health service. And how we did it and why we did it. The way we did it, because we listened to the people. We built a relationship with the people. And they trusted us, and we trusted them. And according to today's Sustainable Development Goal, that they are requesting what you should do, how do you reach. Exactly, they are trying to use our system. Why? Because it's successful. Because you build community, because the community is working with you. If you do not listen to them and you do not work with them, you will not reach your goal. And that's happened. I am so thankful to the people who have been working with me, to my staff, to Afghan Institute of Learning. They are fantastic. They are smart. They are intelligent. Above all, the youth group that we are working today. Yes, we provide a school, we provide service and health, but thousands and thousands of students come to our compound. Young students from university, from high school, they come and they request a space. Why they come and request a space? Because they trust us. Why they want this space? They want to negotiate, they want to communicate, they want to debate. They want just a space to be there. And we provide the refreshment. We provide for them a facilitator, and they discuss democracy, they discuss politics, they discuss peace, they discuss health, they discuss all kinds of topics, and they are getting idea and critical thinking. And that's the way we wanted the system. That's the way that you transform people, to give them a free space that they can freely they talk with each other and share idea, share innovation, share creativity, and that's what we did. We provide services. Today, we have Radio Mirage. Recently, we just launched Radio Mirage. Radio Mirage helped us so much, and I wish that 10 years ago I could have that, but for some reason we couldn't. Today we have. Radio Mirage is broadcasting all the raw material that we have through the radio, and we are reaching 2 million people. The reason is that the area that we could not go, those people can tune in to the radio and listen to it. And that is really make our life easier. Today, Afghanistan has trouble, still. Still, we are living in a conflict zone. Still, we have a lot of problems. Still, school is being closed. Still, students being thrown acid in their face. Still, children are being kidnapped. But you know what? In the other way, if you look, also the civil society is rising up, especially women. Today, the women of Afghanistan are not the same women that they have been 10 years ago. They are getting education, they are going to school, they are going to university, they are doing business, they are traveling abroad, and they have their own business, and that is education. Education is not an easy solution. It's a long-term process. But you know, once you have a patience and tolerance for it, you continuously going, and you see the outcome. And today, sometimes people ask me, aren't you tired? It's 23 years you are working. Aren't you exhausted? And you know what? My answer is, when I see that child is smiling in the classroom, when I see those women sitting around the table and discussing with each other, bringing their issue, finding a solution with each other, that makes me happy. So all the tiredness will go away. And that's what we are doing. That's what EIL is doing. And I am so proud of the children of Afghanistan. Very simple way they start learning. We didn't have facility. We didn't have books. We didn't have even building. But today, we have 4 private schools. Completely all is ready to go with computer, with laboratory, with library, with chair and table, with beautiful building. All is there. The children are learning because they work with us. The community work with us. Today, the children coming from far distance, they want to go to Yacoobi school. Why? Because they see that the system of education is different. They see that creativity taking place. Their children are smarter, they are learning, they are asking questions, and they want their children to be there. All the children goes there? No. Do we have a problem in our educational system still? Yes. But there are a system that says profit for non-profit. It means that in one classroom, a child come paying a fee, but several other child sit with the full scholarship. And that is the way we try to collaborate, help each other. And that is the sustainable goal says to us that We should start practicing that. And I want to say to Her Highness Sheikh Musa bin Nasser, I really want to thank you, especially because you are the one who gave recognition to the creativity and innovation on education. That you have taken steps that every leader in every nation who are superpower, they should do the same thing. They should follow your footsteps. They should not pay money for weapon. They should not pay money for gun and tank. They should pay money for books, they should pay money for books, for school, for pen. And then they could see a world of peaceful world. They should go the root of the problem. The root of the problem that there is poverty is lack of education. Lack of education. If we have educational system setting up good, every nation, every child goes to school, today there wouldn't be a war. Will not be a war in this world. Every child has a right to education. Every individual has a right to education. Islam says education is not only the right of every individual, is the duty and responsibility of every individual. Thank you. Thank you, Your Highness. I really believe with all my heart that your method, your system that you are doing in WISE is going to help the world. Giving recognition to education, you will bring the peace through that methodology. And we need peace. People are in trouble. There is war, there is conflict, there is poverty, there is health issue. The world is in trouble. We need education, and thank you very, very much for all your support.
And Dr. Yacoobi, we need people like you, the WISE Prize for Education laureate, Dr. Sakena Yacoobi.